Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Fifties. My name is Russell. Here is my co-host who's with me every Tuesday night, Big Red. Cameron, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good, mate, good. What a round of footy, mate. What a round of footy.
It went for a bloody long time, didn't it?
It actually did. Well, first game Thursday night, Wednesday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Far out. So it seemed like a long round. Mate, before we start, I'll do it now because I'll forget. There's a couple of boys that want to shout out, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. The boys out at BSR Footy Club, Blanchetown, Swan Reach. The boys are 2 and zip out there.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they had a bye on the weekend, but coach player Mappy and one of their star recruits, Mr. Fry, are up and about after being 2 and zip. So apparently he teared it up on the wing last week. So
star recruit.
Yeah. Apparently played pretty well. So the boys are 2 and zip. Get around them. Hopefully they can keep getting those wins out in there. I don't even know what the league is out there. A bit of Murray League of some sort, I suppose.
Oh, I don't know. All I know is that they cross the border every second week, apparently. So
those bus trips would be pretty fun, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, start off on a light note. Give us your, as we start every podcast, moment of the round, mate. What caught your eye this week?
Moment of the round. I'm not. It's not even going to be football. It is football. It's going to be Roy Sloane. Obviously announced his retirement yesterday. Absolute warrior of the Adelaide Football Club. Obviously, lots of moments this week to pick from, but I just thought let's sort of reminisce on. I think one of the toughest players to play the game through my generation. Yep. So from that 2006 to now period, there was Ripper Bloke too. Apparently, couldn't you hear all the players talk about it? So yeah, that's my moment of the round, or my player of the round is Roy Sloane this week.
Yeah, he was one of my favourite Crows players. Not that I have many, but he was one that I actually really enjoyed watching play. He was hard at it. He was tough as nails. He's definitely a player you'd want to play for, that's for sure.
You'd run through a brick wall for him, wouldn't you? You
would, yeah. And I remember when he was on that footy show, making their mark, and he just seemed really, like you're right, really good bloke and pretty humble. And he's had some tough family stuff that have gone on through that period. And obviously, with his injury now, it's sad to see him retire on that note. But what a career he's had, and he should be celebrated.
He should be,
yeah, 100%, and good luck to him with his future endeavours and that. And I mean, he hasn't played this year, but when he did play, he always gave his all. So I agree, mate. My moment around. What can I think of one that's not so? I can't, to be honest. I'm just got to go with the draw on Thursday, whenever it was.
Oh, Rusty.
I know. I was trying to think of something before and nothing stood out to me. I've been real lack of energy last couple of days, so I think I forgot everything that happened over the weekend. But
there was a fair few. Yeah, the draw is one that will stand out for everyone. I did originally, up until last night, I had Nathan Fyfe's return back to his absolute best. That was there. And I also had just the Geelong Carlton game. That was my top
a
2
game.
Moments,
We'll talk about that one in a bit for sure. Instead of actually the whole game, I'll go a moment. I'll go Jamie Elliott winning the car, if they even get a car anymore. Man, that was a mark.
Yeah, that is,
Poor old Benny Mackay getting sat on. Man, that is one heck of a hanger, and that's probably going to be pretty hard to beat this year, isn't it? There's been a few people that have tried to take hangers and haven't quite come off, but man, what a grab that was. Yes. So that'll be my moment of the round there. Jamie Elliott, absolute screamer. Let's jump into some of the games, mate. Oh, what's going on here? Me computer is trying to turn off. We'll quickly run over a couple of the games that probably weren't as great to watch. The Richmond-Melbourne game. Richmond are just average, aren't they? They got plenty of injuries, and I didn't think Melbourne looked that good. It was a pretty ugly game to watch. Did you watch it?
I think I watched 10 minutes of the first quarter and said I've had enough and did something else.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't watch much of it. No,
it was a pretty average game. So we'll skip over that one. Well on to the D's to getting the win. Richmond are in all sorts at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're going to be bad for a while. You'd thought. And then I was at your place, mate, Thursday. The second Anzac Day draw. Man, what a game of footy this was, back and forth. Even though we kicked the first 5 goals of the game, I had a feeling that Collingwood would just come back into it. They always do. And when they did in the second quarter, I thought, oh, here we go. They're going to do the exact same as last week. But I was pretty proud of the boys to hold on. Could have won it, could have lost it. Draw was probably a fair result. What are your thoughts, mate?
I mean, all week, as I said to a couple other friends that I think Essendon are a chance. And then as soon as you arrived, I said, I worry for you boys today. I think you're going to get smashed.
You did.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to kick the first 5 goals of the game. That's for sure. I mean, Anzac Days are always normally a very good spectacle, a very close encounter. So I guess the draw is probably everyone says the draw is the right result, but I think the right result is probably Essendon winning. I mean, Langford probably should have snagged that, should have kicked that goal easy. Like he's already kicked 4 for the game. I don't know how he's missed that one. So
yeah,
but then again, he kicks that, and there's still a minute 40 to go, or whatever there was left on the clock at the time. And Collingwood might get a clearance and kick a goal, and it's back to being them in front by a point. So it's that.
You're right. Yeah, you'd expect Langers to kick that, but also 30 seconds later, Jamie Elliott really should have taken that mark, and he'd kicked a very similar goal down the other end 2 years ago against us. So I wouldn't have put it past him to jag that one.
Takes mark of the year and then drops the easiest mark he's probably going to get all year.
I know.
We say easiest mark. He was at full stretch, I guess, running at full speed. It's not an easy mark.
He wasn't. He was diagonal.
Everyone sits here and goes, oh, he should have marked it. Well, as good as the kick Nick Dacos is, he's still at full stretch and he's at full speed. So, I think...
And probably a lot of fatigue involved.
Yeah, there's 30 seconds to go in the game. So, but yeah, it was a good game.
It was a great game. I left your house pretty... It's like an empty feeling at draw. What are your thoughts on extra time? It's been spoken about a lot.
Don't fucking do it.
You don't like it?
I'll put it on the grill if I have to for Big Red's beef. That is not no.
All right.
I'm sorry. Extra time is for finals and grand finals. What is the point of having a competition that is ranked by percentage and points if you don't have draws? It gives you a different point of view. It gives you chances. Like now for Essendon, they've got a bad percentage, so their percentage doesn't matter anymore. So that's actually helped Essendon instead. I mean, I guess winning helps you more, but that now puts them half a game behind, and it could play into their favour and it could play against them. But yeah. I don't think we need extra time at the end of the game. The only sports that do it are the real high octane sports like NFL and basketball where they don't have draws. But when you look at the bigger thing, AFL's always had draws. Don't get rid of it. Yeah. Don't change something just because there should be a winner. Why should there be a winner just because it's Anzac Day?
Yeah, I agree.
We only say it after big games. We don't say it after if it was the Freo Bulldogs draw on the weekend, no one would go, there should be extra time. So are we going to have say this weekend the Showdown's a draw? Oh, there needs to be extra time. God. Could you imagine a drawn Showdown? The city would go in a shutdown.
It would.
But
It really would.
I just think stop trying to make. I know everything is about winning, but stop trying to make everything more money out of everything that doesn't need to be made. I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The game ends. That's it. And if you have extra time and you look at it and you go, okay, let's just look at gather round per se, and Carlton Freo drew. Let's say extra time goes and they're tied again at the end of the first extra time. How many extra times do they have to go to before it overlaps with the other game?
Yeah.
On the doubleheader. So, I think, yeah, I understand it where the AFL's coming from, that they want a result. But at the end of the day, if you weren't expected to take 4 points and you take 2 points from a rival, I think that's really handy, and that's really going to really help Essendon in the final push, because they are now, as we saw, if they lost on the weekend, they don't get 2 points, or say it went to extra time and they lost in extra time, they're now out of the 8 because of percentage. So that's just what it is. I think the draw, it adds a bit of spice to it, and it could come down to the last game where, we're 2 points off finishing in 4th, or 2 points off missing the finals. Okay, it's extra time, but if you lose extra time, it doesn't matter. So I think give the 2 points, pack it up, move it on, go on to next week. And I think it's always a talking point, isn't it? After every draw, they bring up something like this. But
yeah, they do.
I think they've got it right. Finals and grand finals, extra time. I mean, I used to like the idea of playing the game the next week, but I kind of understand season goes for a little bit too long then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think keep it the way it is. I don't think it doesn't hurt anyone. Like, it doesn't hurt Essendon. It doesn't hurt Collingwood. And probably judging, I guess, the way that game was, who knows how many extra times we could have had. It's a pretty even game. So
it was. I agree, mate. Yeah, it's one of the unique parts about our game. So keep it.
Yeah.
Biggest sport in the world, soccer, during their normal season games, they have plenty of draws too. Some of them they don't even score a goal, and it's 0-0. And
that can still be very exciting.
Oh, it can be.
A 0-0 game can be very exciting.
Unless you're Adelaide United.
Yes.
My first game there, remember? And it was a 0-0 fucking draw. Haven't been since.
No, I
have been since, but do you remember that? Anyway.
No, we didn't go to a 0-0
This is a
draw.
footy podcast. Yeah, it was. We have some great performances by the Bombers, so I was really, really happy about the way we played. It's more effort based for me every week. So if we chase, hunt the ball, attack the footy, like give a lot of effort, and you can see that everyone's really trying. That's been a problem for Essendon for a long time. Is it happens for 2 weeks and then it stops. So to see it was good. I want to see it again this week. So Zach Merritt probably deserving medalist, although Andy McGrath played well. Obviously Nick Dacos played well. If Mychek kicked his goals, he probably wins it too. So, and even Langers if he kicked that goal. I agree about the draw. Mate, the Lions.
And your boy, one second. Your boy Harrison Jones, mate, cemented himself in the 22 yet? Or
you're giving me grief about this all day on Thursday. Yes. Thankfully, he has escaped any big nose injury. That looked pretty nasty, but Yep, he stays in.
I just wanted to clear that up. Just wanted to make sure.
He stays in for now,
but
for
yes,
sure.
the Lions.
Yeah,
the Lions,
mate.
they stink, don't they?
Their season's done, man. They can obviously still make finals, but they're not winning a grand final.
No. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it.
Uncaged.
Long time not liking Lions.
Yep.
Probably ever since Lockie Neal went there. But it's, kind of glad for the downfall. But no one's putting a line through them. That's what's surprising me.
Lost by 10 goals.
Because, but their draw has been hard.
So it should have been the grand final last year.
Yeah. But so they've still got to play a lot of the lower teams that finished below them last year. So they played Freo in round one.
Yeah.
Melbourne, so Freo in round one. Oh, sorry. Carlton, Freo. And Freo in Perth's never an easy task, unless if you're West Coast. Then they had the bye. Then they played Collingwood. Then they beat up on North. Then they beat Melbourne at the G, which is an impressive win. And then, Geelong, GWS, who we are probably all saying is a top 4 side right now.
Yeah.
So their next month, they've got Gold Coast.
I mean, they could lose that.
Adelaide. In Adelaide.
Away?
Yeah. The Tigers. And Hawthorn. So they could easily go 3-1. They could easily go 4-0. And they go 4-0, they're 6-5. Or 6 and...
Yeah.
6-6 or whatever, and they're, it's interesting right now because I think that push for the obviously Essendon getting the draw, as I said, has helped them, but that push for probably 6 to the 12 mark, there's a lot of teams in that mix that are, in the bracket of can they make the push? Like you've got the Crows who have still got some winnable games coming up. You got Freo in that mix. You got Collingwood. You got Brisbane. You got Essendon. Who else is in that mix? Gold Coast is in that mix, and they've got a reasonably favourable draw. So, I think I'm hesitant to put a line through them, but it's going to be very tough for them to make it.
It is. How many games are they behind? They're 2 games? Yeah.
Yeah, well, Freo's 8th, and they're on 4, yeah.
It's a pretty stacked middle of the ladder, isn't it? I mean, normally it's still only 7 rounds in, so I guess we'll see how it shapes up over the next really month. And you probably get more of a gauge around round 12, 13, probably where teams might finish. But a lot of, AFL media personnel are saying the top 6 is already locked in. Even though they look the better sides, I wouldn't completely lock that in yet, though. So,
yeah, there's 2 out of the 6 that I'm sketchy on still, and I'm not fully sold on. But the 4 of them, I'm pretty sold on that they'll be there when the
2 I wouldn't
be crack.
Would be Melbourne and Carlton. What would your 2 be?
Melbourne and Port.
Okay. Yep.
I think Carlton have shown more than Port this year, but that's just me. Because you look at when Port played Collingwood, they were absolutely played off the park. And when Carlton played Geelong, Carlton probably should have won that game on Saturday. So it's one of those things of like, Port and Melbourne for me are the ones that just haven't shown enough, I don't think, just yet. And
fair enough.
Port always against the top 8 teams. There's always that cloud over them, I guess, isn't there?
Their record's shocking against top 4 teams. We might as well move on to that game because, well done by the Giants getting another win. They look pretty good this year, don't they?
They're flying.
Another debutant comes in and just plays well.
Yeah, it looks good.
The bloke with the
helmet.
Helmet, yeah, I love the look of the helmet, to be honest.
It's good. It's a good look, isn't it?
But yeah, Friday night, I thought this was another pretty crappy game to watch. I thought Port were terrible. Maybe it's the way Saints play, but Port's kicking was real bad, and they got a couple of bad injuries coming from it. So,
if Port kick straight though, that game's over.
Yeah, correct.
They're 2-8 at quarter time or 1-8 at quarter time.
1-8. Yeah.
St Kilda are pretty lucky, and sometimes you play Port and they don't miss anything, and they kick 9 straight, and you're out of the game.
Yeah, against.
And then sometimes you play Port and they just continue on, and some big injuries, some key player injuries too.
Apparently,
this week,
Connor Rosie has said he's playing this week.
Apparently, he's available. He's gone from a 2-week hamstring injury to a 6-day hamstring injury. I I want to know what the club doctors are giving him. And also, is it the same doctor that cleared Alira in the Showdown last year? Because I don't trust that source. So,
yeah. It's a man. I wouldn't be playing him, but
if he says he's 100%, he's 100%. You go with what the player says. He's your captain. He's your leader. If it goes in the first 5 minutes, you tell him you're wrong. Simple as that.
Yeah, going to be interesting. I traded him out my super coach this week, so I might need to reverse that. If he actually, you know what, I might just leave it because I don't think he's not going to be 100% surely. But Power Pepper gone for the year.
Yeah.
What was the other injury?
And Alira concussion from Higgins tackle.
Yeah, what is your thoughts on that tackle? I think the tribunal is it tonight? Let me check Twitter. But 3 weeks of that tackle, man, it's just 50-50.
Well, anyway. Is it a worse tackle than Charlie Cameron's?
I don't think it is, no.
So then it's no weeks.
I didn't think it was as I thought Alira contributed more to the tackle than Jake Lever.
What then when Lever did it to Cameron.
When Cameron tackled Lever, Lever kind of went with the way that Charlie Cameron was tackling him. The only reason that Alira, to me, hit his head on the ground is because he flung his body to try and kick it, in my opinion.
What do you want either player to do in that situation? I'm not asking you, I'm just asking the NFL. What do they want either player to do in that situation? Do you want Alira to just drop the ball and get caught holding the ball? Or do you want Higgins to not tackle him and he runs away with the ball? There's nothing more that you train a player, you train kids any differently in that situation when it's a bigger person. Higgins has done, I think, the correct action. He hasn't slung him afterwards. He hasn't tried to forcefully. Alira is kicked. Because he's kicked it in that motion as Higgins tackling him, his head's hit the ground. Now, obviously, a lot of supporters will say that it is a dirty tackle and he deserves what he got. I totally disagree with that. But it's just, it's not the incident, it's the outcome that we're punishing. And next week, if, let's just say Connor Rosie plays and he does that to the Riley O'Brien, just someone a little bit bigger than him. That's a lot bigger than him, but someone bigger than him. And he gets concussed. Doesn't get concussed, but it's the same action. It should be 3 weeks.
So it looks like they are still deliberating.
Yeah.
From David Zeta on Twitter. He's the man when it comes to tribunal, that's for sure. I agree, mate. I agree. It's a real...
The thing is it's the same as we look at Peter Wright and what was the most recent bump? We look at Zach Butters and Matt Crouch.
Yeah.
Right? Banfield didn't get hurt. The Carlton player did get hurt. I don't think he had concussion, but he got hurt.
Yes.
They punished the outcome, not the incident. And that's the trouble. When you look at it again, Jesse Hogan got off, which he shouldn't have got off because he's laid a punch.
Yeah.
Where in the world is Jesse Hogan's incident a better incident than what Jack Higgins done?
Totally agree.
So, again, it's just... And the same with Peter
Mason
Wright.
Redmond got a week for literally doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think Redmond deserved a week, though, but he should have got off under everybody else.
Yeah, we didn't challenge the call because we're fucking soft, but anyway.
But that's where it stands for me, and it's how often you're going to keep challenging. Like, of course St Kilda are going to challenge that. Why wouldn't they challenge it?
Yeah.
Like, it's just... It's the inconsistencies that lie with the action and the outcome, and that is what's hurting the game, I think. I think it's no one knows. Like, you don't know anymore. You see something and go, shit, he's probably going to get a week. But
correct.
If it's not Jack Higgins and this week it's Caleb Sarong or Zach Butters or Isaac Heaney and the same thing happens, are they getting suspended?
Probably not, no.
Because, again, there's a big medal involved. Well, Isaac Heaney comes out and does that this week.
I think.
He doesn't get a week.
I think the Brownlow should be able to be won if someone has been suspended for 4 weeks or less, or something like that.
No, I disagree. I think it should be if it's not a footballing incident. Because you can get 1 week for striking. That's not a fair play.
Yeah. Need a criteria for
it. So for me, Peter Wright should be eligible for the Brownlow because I believe that was a footballing incident. But someone like Jesse Hogan or Redmond, they shouldn't be eligible for the Brownlow.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I look at it. I think because you're not going to give someone a week for a little. If you give someone a week for a gut punch, it's not. It's a week, but it's not malicious. But she should still be eligible for the Brownlow because you've not been fair, if that makes sense.
It just shows you we've gone backwards with suspensions. Zach Merritt got a week for punching someone in the gut like 4 or 5 years ago. Now you get off.
But now it's all about the head. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Since the stuff that's happened with like all of the ex-AFL players and that, and by all means, they deserve. If they deserve some compensation, they deserve it because, and I, speaking like I've actually ran into Johnny Platten at the footy a couple of weeks ago. He actually stopped me, believe it or not.
Johnny Platten, good bloke.
Yeah, like the T-shirt that I was wearing.
Oh, really? So, what T-shirt was it?
South Australia one.
Good man.
Completely forgot to get a photo with him. But
does he still have? He doesn't have the dreads anymore. He's
he's got the long hair, curly hair. Yep, absolute legend. But again, in his time, if he didn't go back out there, he was called a pussy or a wuss.
Yeah, 100%.
Now they're called stupid if they go back out there. So I guess, I understand looking after the head, but come on, you can't suspend the outcome every time. It's going to cost someone a Brownlow, but even then I don't think it is because the way they suspend at the moment. So it's just
it's a mess. Let's just say that. It's an absolute mess. Just to finish off on that game, we're going to give a shout out to one player. Chase Burgoyne is having a ripper couple of weeks. Absolutely loving the footy he's playing at the moment out on that wing.
Probably deserved the Rising Star nom, or is he a bit too old? I don't actually know.
He wouldn't be too old, but whether he's played more than, was it under 20 games?
I don't know what the rules is.
Yeah, I think it's under 20 or 25 games. Maybe he's got a Rising Star nomination already, but really good to see him play some.
He's only played 16, so.
What's that?
He's only played 16, so maybe might be a shout. You might get it this week.
He might, who knows? But I loved his son. His son, his dad, his father, Peter Burgoyne, so silky with the ball. Just as skinny as he was too. He's light, but he actually has a crack and he's fast and got good skills. So good to see him playing really well. The Crows, mate. Not finally, because they had a win a couple of weeks ago, but good to get another win on the board for the Crows, mate. 10-goal win against struggling North, but down at Bloodstone Arena. Nice to see a couple of the young players perform well as well. That Cook, whatever his name is, kicked 3 goals, didn't he?
Big Elliot Himmelberg's back.
Yeah.
They just did what they had to do. They ticked all the boxes, I guess, went down there, probably rolled over in 5th gear for the second half or maybe even 3rd gear and just see a North and let's get ready for the showdown.
Yeah, it's got to be a cracking game this week. We'll get into the showdown a bit soon. Good to see Rory Laird back in probably his best game for the year as well. Dawson back in form.
Yep, Dawson's back, baby.
And for North Melbourne, I mean, they've got some really good young kids, but like McKercher had a really good game with 32 touches. Obviously, Sheasel's a gun.
They suck.
Yeah.
I just don't see them winning a game.
Oh, don't say that. They'll beat us.
Oh, I just don't. don't see them getting enough. They're not going to beat teams for more than a quarter.
Their back six is a mess.
But just like, and I get it. I understand it. They were depleted by losing, and they've got a lot of injuries this year in their back six and some key defenders. But man, they're just like, I generally think you put out some of the Sandful sides and they go out and beat them. Like it has that feel about it. Like
it does.
Like every year we sit here and we go, oh, this team's going to be worse, and West Coast are going to have their worst year. And the first 3 rounds you probably thought, shit, West Coast are going to suck this year. But they've shown, even like I think they lost to Sydney. They showed something. They showed a bit of fight, and even for a couple of quarters they showed a bit of fight. But North just seem to, when they look like they're going to show fight, all of a sudden they just, you know what? Let's roll into second gear and let's just let the team beat us. Like they just, I've obviously know that Freo lost 20 games in a row in 2001, and you probably just don't know when it's going to happen. But when you actually go look back at some of those games and you look at the stats and that, they were quite competitive.
Yeah, yeah.
North just don't look competitive, man. They just don't. And I sit here and go, they were pretty competitive against Freo, but we literally from the second quarter onwards destroyed them.
Yeah.
Once
correct.
we got the scoreboard pressure, we just overran them. So
they lack intensity for mine watching them play this year. They just lack intensity.
It was the most boring game I've watched all year. It was the North Crows game. I watched all 4 quarters too.
I was out at Gazer that Saturday afternoon. That wasn't a great watch either, mate.
Yeah, I probably got the good end of the deal there.
Yeah, the boys are struggling out there, the poor Gazer Footy Club. Next game, mate, was a cracker. Geelong, we've got to give them some credit, man. 7-0. Only team undefeated. They've versed some pretty good teams too. And they're just cruising along at the moment. They can really set up their season from here. Like they've already rested Dangerfield.
They haven't rested Dangerfield. He's done his hammy twice.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to. He's going to be out for like a month now, isn't he? So
yeah, I think it was 4 to 6 I saw. So
yeah, but
literally just sent him to the waiver wire in my Supercoach draft.
But they'll be right. Cam Guthrie comes back and just goes bang first game.
Their depth's pretty good, isn't it?
It is. And I actually thought Dangerfield was really influential in that game up until he got injured as well. But they're just looking good. The Cats playing in a home game and an away stadium. At the MCG, there'll be more Carlton supporters there, I guarantee you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
But that game was gone. And then somehow Carlton got back into it in like 3 minutes. They kicked like 4 goals and it was like, surely not.
I tell you what, though, it was good to see Carlton on the wrong end of a decision. That was pretty fucking good. That was stiff. It was not 50.
Which one was? I'm trying to remember which one this was.
Harry Mackay on the mark. Paddy Cripps
that was an absolute garbage decision.
He was behind Patrick Cripps. If he was in front of Patrick Cripps, by all means, call it. But you've just given away a 50 for that. It was just stupid. It was so good to see because it was Carlton, but it was not 50. That was very stiff.
No, that happens like 10 to 15 times a game.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. They just decide when they want to call it.
Yeah, that was a really bad decision. But as you said, mate, I'm not complaining one bit.
No.
Seeing that happen to them. Yeah, pretty good game of footy. I mean, I thought it was a great game, actually. And both teams have got to be there or thereabouts in finals. Cats, got to start giving them some credit. I almost feel like they're under the radar somehow still a little bit.
No fuck really Geelong. I'm sick of them. Piss off.
They just stay relevant, don't they?
I just want them to get flogged by 100 points in a game. Just give me that. I don't care who it's against.
I don't think it's going to happen for a while.
I couldn't care as long. I just don't want them. they just do everything so well. They're a well-run club.
They are.
They're
really well.
They're a very rich club, but yeah, they're a well-run club. So
yeah, they definitely are. And I mean, they managed to get these players. Like you look at Atkins, O'Connor. Who else am I thinking? Or even someone like a Blitzards. I'm trying to think more there. Someone more there. I mean, obviously they got Tanner Bruin from the Giants. Who else is in that midfield that I am thinking of?
Jack Bowes.
Yeah, Bowes. Yeah. Max Holmes.
Holmes is good. Yeah, very good.
They just continually find these players. Stengel's back in form too.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, on to your guys, your boys. A lot better performance this week. To me, looked a lot more attacking. I remember messaging you this Saturday night. They looked 10 times better when they moved the ball quick, mate. What did you think of their performance?
It's hard not to get ahead of myself, obviously, because there was something there, and then this week we'll come out and we'll be shit again. Yeah, I mean, I don't rate the Bulldogs really.
No.
So, but yeah, it just looked like fuck. I don't know what it looked like. I've watched the game.
Mate.
I've watched the game back again. Yeah, because everyone says it's a different game plan, but it wasn't. We just dominated in certain positions of the ground, which made it look like it was more. We were a bit more attacking, but that's because we were able to. We're coming up against a team that wasn't that good, I believe. Sounds a little bit.
I thought you played with more pace than you did the previous 2 or 3
Yeah, we
weeks.
did. We probably did, and I guess Cooper Simpson, the rookie, he added to that. Patrick Voss looks all right up there. Might not be in this team again this week, but that's just unfortunate for him because he's up against Jai Miss.
I thought Frederick played like a lot better this week too.
Frederick is our barometer, I believe. Frederick is our barometer, and if he's flying, the team's flying. It sounds stupid. He might not be having 25 disposals a game, but if he's getting 3 disposals where he's just running at full speed, he's our barometer. Yeah, that's what I think about. Yeah, but it was a lot better performance, and it would have been nice if we came out and had that kind of performance against the Eagles. And I feel like we had that kind of performance against Port and Carlton. We just come up against very good opposition.
Yeah.
And we're in positions against those teams where we should have won it, but we didn't. Every time they answered, we had an answer, which I really liked.
Yeah.
And that was probably the best thing. And I feel like there is something happening between the midfields and the forwards, but it's not happening consistently enough each week. I mean, again, we didn't score 100 points again. It doesn't matter. The other team didn't score 70, but only just scored 70. But, you want to be scoring 100 points each week, I think. Or aiming for that 90.
Close
that 90 points each week. And when I look at it, our 4 wins this year, we had 90 against Brisbane, we had 100 against North, and then we only had 70 against the Crows, but we absolutely smashed them off the park. So we just kicked in accurately in that game. So I think there's something there to build on. Again, don't want to get ahead of myself. But you know me, after we come out and hopefully beat Richmond this week, I'll be booking grand final tickets. So
you definitely will be. Good to see Fifey, mate, having really a solid year. And man, it's good to see him playing great footy again, isn't it?
Yeah, I just wish he'd kick more.
He kicked a bit more this week. 12 kicks and 37 touches. Not too bad.
Yeah, but there's some times where he just looks for the handball. And then it's a suicide handball. I don't think he trusts his kicking.
I was about to say, do you think he's worried about his hammies or his?
I don't know. I just don't think I don't think he trusts his kicking. That's what it is. I don't like, and I mean, I copped a lot of flack from him, but I don't think he was the best on ground anyway. But I just don't think he trusts his kicking. But there's sometimes where he gets the ball and the first option should be to kick it, and he waits for the handball, and then our slow game plan that it probably doesn't need to be that slow. We tend to turn the ball over, or he puts a player under extreme pressure with a handball that doesn't need to happen. So, but it's Fife. You do what you want, mate.
Who do you think was best on?
Sarong.
Okay. Yep.
Had 17 clearances.
He's a brutal.
I'd actually almost go to say that Tracy was best on, but
Tracy.
Well, he was so clutch in that last
3 goals,
5 contested marks in the last quarter. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
He's
so
had a good year, Tracy, so far.
He's only 21.
The other thing I was going to mention was the ruck duo worked a lot better this week. I thought Darcy. Sorry, got a. Pardon me. Sorry. I thought Darcy. We had more hitouts than English, and Jackson kicked 2 goals. So he kicked 2 too. So he really could have had 3 or 4.
Yeah,
that worked a lot better this week.
Yeah, but I'm going to put it down to last week. Jackson had to play key forward last week because a miss went down in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
So I don't think he's an actual key forward, Jackson. Of course, he could play like one, but I don't think he is one.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the leading patterns as a key forward and whatnot. So I think you take his ability away when he has to play as a key. So, look, I don't think Darcy was that bad in the derby either. Good to do it against the reigning All-Australian ruckman.
Yep.
But needs to, obviously, again, big test this week against Nankervis, so needs to back it up this week.
Is he?
No.
Lost my train of thought there. Yeah, no, it was overall pretty good performance from your boys, and now you're in the 8 seasons. Well, obviously it was still alive anyway, but get a win against the Tigers this week, and things are looking really good. As you mentioned, I think there's only really been the one bad performance there, which was against the Eagles. The 2 losses were, you'd win that game, both of them with a few minutes left. So, on to the last couple of games. We'll quickly touch on them because they were both pretty comfortable wins. Eagles had a crack again against the Suns. Wits had 46 hitouts, but I love the Gold Coast midfield and their young kids. Like Rowe's a gun, Flanders is a gun, Anderson's a gun, Miller's a gun. Graham just comes in, does his thing as a first-year player. Rogers, looks so good on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously got that Cloesi. Mac Andrews having a breakout year.
It's absolute steal in our Supercoach draft. Mac Andrew. Right off the waiver wire, and he's been so good for me.
I have not won a game yet in that damn thing. But yeah, Suns, mate. Are they going to make finals this year?
I want to say no because that position belongs to Fremantle.
Yeah.
So no. And you want to say no because that position belongs to Essendon.
Yes, agreed. But I would love to see them play finals and win a final. I'd love to see that.
I don't think they win one though.
Probably not.
They're not going to play at home. They're not going to finish top 6.
You don't know, I suppose.
Nah, I know they've got a good run, but I don't think they finish top 6.
Probably not. Not yet.
Because I don't think they beat you or Essendon or Freo away from home.
It depends where they play them.
Yeah, they play us in Perth, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they beat us in Perth.
I bet you'll replay them up there.
You probably do. They'll probably beat you. But
We're going to travel again this week, mate. We're like an interstate team.
Yeah, it's sucked in.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But they got stuck at stacks of young talent. And the last game, I mean, Swans just smashed Hawthorn. They're looking pretty good. Good to see Will Day back. But yeah, your boy is probably going to end up on your team maybe next year. Logan McDonald, another decent game, I think. I probably should say he kicked 3-3.
I hope not.
What's that?
Don't want him.
You don't want him?
Nah, I don't want him.
Jesus. That's a big call.
I think we should be going up. I think we need small forwards more than anything. So, of course, if he says, I want to come home and we can pick him up, you try go for him. But then who's not in our team? Tracy?
You probably play one ruck maybe.
You got Darcy on an 8-year contract and you got Luke Jackson on a 5-year contract. You're playing both of them. Luke
That's
Jackson
crazy
has
to have two ruckmen for that long on those contracts, by the way.
Luke Jackson has the potential to be the best player in our team.
Yeah, yep.
So Logan McDonald doesn't have that. I don't think. He has the potential to be our best forward in our team, but then also we've got Jai and Tracy who are performing pretty well.
Yeah.
So, but again, it is Logan McDonald, and of course, if he says he wants to come home, he wants to come home. But I'd like us to go after Baker and Bolton.
Yeah, I like that. Yep.
So
they'd definitely get good additions for your team for sure.
Yeah.
Mate, let's quickly. We won't go through next week's games, but just pick out one, mate. You probably got to choose the showdown, but yeah, pick one you're most excited about this week, mate.
Oh, let me have a look, hey? Let me have a look. Well, obviously, yeah, being in South Australia, the showdown is number one, but
what about Carlton Collingwood Friday night? That's going to be an absolute cracker.
There's some really good ones, isn't there? Carlton Collingwood, Sydney GWS.
Yeah, Battle of the Bridge.
Melbourne Geelong could be a pretty good game.
Yep.
Brisbane Gold Coast could be a pretty good game.
Yeah, it's good. Could be a tough round for tipping, that's for sure.
Even West Coast Essendon could be a pretty good game.
Could be. I'm nervous, to be honest.
But I think I'm going to pick St Kilda versus North Melbourne. No. No.
Battle at the bottom four at the moment.
That's a tough one this week.
Yeah. I'll go Carlton Collingwood. I mean, I love the showdown, but...
Yeah, obviously showdown trumps, but I'll go Sydney Giants.
Sydney Giants, Battle of the Bridge.
Saturday afternoon at the SCG with a Red Sheeran. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful.
And you're going to have Carrie Underwood.
Kelly Underwood. She didn't do any games this weekend.
Underwood. What's that?
She didn't do any games this weekend.
Didn't she?
Nah. So...
Might be Howie. Howie's a good commentator.
Probably been turfed.
I ain't complaining about that. Let's do the Big Reds beef. Have you got anything for it this week, mate?
Nah, mate. No Big Reds beef this week.
No beef. Boys aren't going to be happy.
Nah, there's no beef this week. I was going to do the people talking about the draw, but I sort of covered it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. There's nothing else. One of my big ones, I do have a little one, but it's with Lee Matthews. Just the inconsistency in his arguments. 1 week, that 1 week it's an unfair advantage for the Crows and Port to have gather round, and then this week it's now an unfair advantage that Essendon and Collingwood have Anzac Day.
I have a feeling he's lost the plot a little bit.
What is it? What is it? Where is it? I've always, and you know me, I've always been Anzac Day should be the grand finalist. That's me, right? That's what it should be. That's who I am. That's how I am. I've grown up with it with the SANFL and I like it. And I'm on the thing with, if they were to say that Gather Round should have a showdown, I think that is the most stupidest thing they could do, and it would ruin Gather Round, because if you were to say Thursday night showdown, Crows and Port, the rest of the weekend no one's going to go to the footy if their team loses.
Yep.
They don't understand it. It's tribalism over here, and I know Collingwood and Carlton is, and Essendon and Collingwood is, but Anzac Day rivalry isn't like a showdown rivalry. Like, it's tribalism. Like, I guarantee you, it's not. It's probably not been rude, but it wouldn't be as bad going to work as an Essendon supporter after losing to Collingwood as it is going as a Crows supporter after losing to Port, or a Port supporter losing to Crows.
I totally agree.
It's horrid here. I don't go for either of them, and I hate going to work when Port win. So, like
a 2-team state, is so different to an 8-team state for sure.
Yeah, and that's I just like it's not obviously not me saying that but just what is it, Lee? What do you want? There's never going to be a fair fixture, right? And I believe the only teams that should complain about gather round are the other non-Victorian teams. That's it. Because yes, Crows and Port get an extra home game, right? So they get 13 home games, whereas Freo get 12, West Coast get 12, Brisbane get 12, Gold Coast get 12, GWS and Sydney get 12, right? Everyone that says, Collingwood and that also get 12. Yes, they get 12 home games, but then they also get 5 away games at their home ground.
Yeah, that's not an away game. Yeah.
They get 17 games at the MCG and 3 at Marvel and then 2 fucking interstate.
Yeah.
Like, so just Lee Matthews, shut the fuck up.
I agree. He said some really odd stuff the last few weeks.
Like, God.
I know Essendon don't leave Melbourne for 2 months later on in the year. Like, that has to be an advantage.
Yeah, and it is.
It is, 100%.
And people sitting there going, oh my God, like, Freo, we lost to West Coast and all that. We've also been on the road for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, we left on Thursday, the Thursday of gather round. And we left back on the Tuesday, not the Tuesday after, the Tuesday after that, or the Monday after that, or the Sunday, whatever it was, on the road for 2 weeks nearly. Then we come back, you haven't been in your own environment. Then you play West Coast who have been in the state. It's a little bit. It's just what it is to me. I just think there's too many inconsistencies in the game.
That's why I'm surprised sometimes that Hawthorn and North Melbourne sell their home games to Tasmania. I know it's not that far of a travel, but yeah. I agree.
They do it for money, obviously.
Bloody need it, don't they, them too? Good point. It's I don't compare Essendon's fixture to the interstate, the non-Victorian teams. I look at our fixture compared to the other Melbourne teams, and I swear we get a lot more screwed over on travel than some of the other Victorian teams. But anyway,
but
I shouldn't complain.
You guys are probably one of the biggest supporter bases when you come to Adelaide.
Yeah.
So, like, that hurts you in that way, and it's the same for Carlton and Collingwood. Like, I don't think Geelong come here twice. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Geelong come here twice. I don't think North Melbourne come here twice. So the teams that have a smaller supporter base don't come here twice.
Yeah.
So that's just unfortunate for you guys being a big club. True.
Well, when you look at it, like, this will be round 8 this week. We've been to Sydney, Adelaide twice, and we're going to be in Perth this week. So we've travelled 4 out of 8 games. So we have basically been a non-Victorian team the first 8 weeks when you think of it.
Yeah. You have been. Yeah.
But as I said, later in the year, we don't leave Melbourne for 2 months. So,
but you're also in Adelaide when everyone was in Adelaide. So you sort of the first Adelaide doesn't really count because everyone's travelled there, I guess.
We did verse an Adelaide team though, which is a disadvantage on gather round.
Yeah, but from what I've heard is the way that it evens out is that if you play them a gather round game against the team, you only will have to come here once in 3 years or something. Is what I heard, because I don't think Carlton come here again this year, and they played the Crows here last year, and I think the Bulldogs are the same. They don't come here either.
Yeah.
So they were the team
in 3 weeks. But yeah, we'll see what happens next year.
So you might not come to Adelaide at all next year, which I think is unfair for your supporter base that's in Adelaide.
I mean, we'll be here for gather round, but
besides gather round, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Mate, let's move on to a bit of a special I don't even know what you call it. It's not a game.
It's our top 6.
Yeah, we're going to do something similar to what we did last week, just a little bit different. We're going to pick out our top 6 showdown moments. I'll put up a post on our Facebook just before jumping on the pod. Make sure you write down your favourite showdown moments or memories in the comments below and have a bit of a chat about it. Have some banter and that. But we're going to pick 3 each. Is that right, Camo?
We'll do 3. Yeah, well, obviously we've probably got 5 or 6 that are probably similar.
Yep.
So we'll say a moment, and then we will, if both of us think that is our top moment, we'll rank that as number 1 through to 6, and then we'll try and make it so we'll try to have got 3 for each team, but it sometimes doesn't happen like that.
Yep. I like it. You go first, mate. You start us off.
Obviously, my number 1 moment is the win after Phil Walsh's death, or the game after the first showdown after Phil Walsh's death.
Yeah.
The motion charge Crows, I think, won it by 3 points. I want to say it's the closest. I think it's the closest showdown in history.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
So yeah, that's obviously in my top 6. But it's my number one moment, just because of, I guess, the sentiment behind it.
It was a very emotionally charged game of footy. And I think Port came back very hard late in that game, didn't they? I'm pretty sure it was I don't know if it still is, but at the time it was the biggest crowd that had been in Adelaide Oval. That was an emotional and a great game of footy, and I think both teams stood up to the moment pretty well. So I'm actually pretty happy to put that number 1, mate.
Slap that one number 1?
Yeah, we can lock that in for number 1. Tough time for many football players and
just many football fans.
Yeah, and for fans.
It rocked it rocked everyone. I remember being at work when it happened.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I remember.
And everyone actually left their stations and went inside and was just crowded around this TV.
Yeah, I remember that. I do.
It was like, it was interesting. Like it was,
I'm pretty sure I didn't do much work for the next 2-3 hours. Not that I did much work then anyway, but
I don't think I did anything for the next 6 days. Like,
it's and that the week later when Crows played West Coast, I think that brings tears to your eyes every time you see that after the game. Yeah, that's a tough moment. That's a tough video to watch for sure. Number 2, or for my first pick, what do I want to go with? I'll actually go with Stephen Motlop's winner with 20 seconds left. I don't know what year that was. I should know that. 2018, I reckon it was.
Yeah, 2018, maybe 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. Yeah. They've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I just remember like vividly that day I was at a wedding, and we just got into the reception after the ceremony for the wedding, like family wedding, so all cousins, aunties, uncles, mum, were all there. And I remember more people were looking at their phone while like everyone, like the bridal party and that, were entering the the reception, and then they got there and food come out, and like they were trying to do speeches. And I remember like you could hear like people screaming from the tables of like what was going on. And why you'd have a wedding on Showdown Day, don't ask me. But
I'm sorry, but and if your family listens to this, why are you getting married during footy season? Read the room. Read the room.
Don't ask me.
Read the
She's
room.
not a. I don't think she's a big footy person. Shout out to Sarah. But yeah, I remember between the ceremony and reception, me and a couple of cousins went to the local pub to start watching the game, and then we sat in the. It was at the Hilton, the reception. We sat in the bar there until the last minute. We had to go sit down, but everyone had their phones out, and pretty good night that was actually. But yeah, like commentary for that moment too. Hutto, not Hutto, Jesus Christ. What's his name?
It was
Anthony
Hutto,
Hudson, right?
Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was Anthony Hudson, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know who. I was thinking of Tim Lane for a second for some reason. Don't know why. But yeah, Hutto. Great commentary. Good comeback by the Crows from absolutely nowhere.
That wasn't in my top 5, so
boo.
I'm happy to put that at number 3 because I think number 2 is on both of our lists, and I reckon number 4 is on both of our lists, and then it's a toss up for the last 2. But number 2, as I think it's probably is the best showdown moment, is the Monfries bounce. I know the whole game, but the Monfries bounce, it's always remembered from the Monfries bounce. The last ever showdown at Adelaide, at Amy Stadium.
Amy Stadium, yeah.
It's got to be number 2. Like I think it's a better moment than that. I guess I know you got Motlop Flashpoint is a very good showdown moment, but I just think the Stevie J. Sorry, not Stevie J. The Angus Monfries bounce was just incredible. That has to go number 2.
That was how does that even bounce like that?
Don't know how it happens, but we'll slide that in at number 2 because I'm pretty sure I know what number 4 is going to be.
Yeah, good, great moment, great game of footy. That Chad Wingard went ham that game.
Lewis Johnson had a chance to win it.
Oh, he burnt Paddy Dangerfield, didn't he?
Burnt Paddy Dangerfield.
He kicked 6 that day, though, didn't he?
Johnston?
Yeah.
5, maybe. I don't think he kicked 6.
Burnt Dangerfield.
Burnt Dangerfield and burnt the goalposts by kicking it that far away from him.
Yeah, that was a last showdown at Amy Stadium. I have lots of memories at Amy Stadium, actually, as a young kid. So, no, happy to put that number 2. Number 4, I hope we're both thinking of the same one. I'm going to go the Byron Pickett hit on.
Oh, we're not.
We're not?
We're not.
What do you think I was going to say?
Josh Jenkins' point.
That'll be the next one. Well, I want to go to Byron Pickett hit because I absolutely...
I've got that game in general in my 5 anyway.
Just because the Crows won by 100 points.
Yeah, but I remember it.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I remember the build up to it, the first ever showdown final. I remember like being at school and people bringing in like cupcakes and stuff, and it was pork topping and Crows toppings. There was this buzz around the city that, like, even today with showdowns, it's just unmatched. And I just remember, my old man going, "We can't lose this one. Not a final. Let's not lose the final," because the Crows would have gone out in straight sets that year. So, just remember the buzz around that final, and obviously the Byron Pickett hit. But just and Andrew McLeod was absolutely skating on ice that day. But I just thought, that game is like, if you ask me to sit down and go, you get to watch any showdown you want ever, like you get no other showdown you can watch again, that's what I watch. Because
that's completely fair. I can see why. I just
remember it. Not just because Port got smashed, and I know we love it. I love it. Yeah. But it just the memories of like that era of football where South Australian teams were both pretty prominent, I thought.
Yeah.
And now you don't really see it like maybe last year both teams were quite prominent, but not so much prominent. But when both teams are up and about, the city buzzes. The city is like on ice, and And that one for me was just, the Pickett moment, one of the best hits I've ever seen on a footy field. And
cleaned him up.
don't think Rhett Biglands has walked straight ever since. But, I'm happy to put that one in at 4 just because of the moment, the game.
Yep. No, we can put it in number 4. I'll be honest. Do not remember a thing about the game, and there's probably a reason why.
No, that's fair.
But I've watched that hit.
Hundreds of times.
So, we can put that in for number 4, and I'm sure, to be honest, that the build up that week would have been incredible. Like, that was the year after the Port won the flag, won it in 05.
Yeah,
or was it 06?
So it was 05. Yeah. So Port finished. I think Port finished 8th. They might have finished 5th, and with the rules that the AFL had that you couldn't have 2 games in the same state that weren't Victorian. So I think Port had to play a home game that Eddie had against North Melbourne. I could be wrong. North Melbourne could have finished 5th and Port could have finished 8th and they won on the road. But all I remember is that, if the Crows lost it, they would have gone out in straight sets. And there was just this aurora around the city, and I just remember going to school and it's like, who are you going for? And it's like, well, me, obviously I'm going for the Crows, but it was sitting down I remember watching it with Dad and his friends, and it was, obviously seeing your old man that happy at a footy game, but just there's something about it.
No, I'm happy to put a number 4, mate. Go for your last one.
Well, as we said, it's Josh Jenkins in the post.
Man,
my boy.
I was at your house that day.
No, you weren't.
Or night.
We've had this discussion 8 times about that game. Myself and my partner were at the game, and you guys watched it at JB's. It was the night we all ended. It was the night we all ended up in town, and we had that JB incident outside the Elephant. We can't tell her what it is because we'll ruin his claim to fame. But it was that night. Yeah, so I remember the whole this is my first ever Showdown. So I hadn't been to a Showdown in probably since I'd been born. I might have gone with when I was younger as a kid with Dad, but I don't remember it. But it was my first ever Showdown that I remember, and just Robbie Gray was on crack that day, as he is in most Showdowns. Wingard was also on, absolutely flying. I think it was Wingard at the time.
I have one question for you. Did it hit the post?
No, it's Josh Jenkins. It's a goal, mate.
100% hit the post.
Oh, hit the post, 100%. 100% hit the post.
What a controversial... You're lucky he probably wasn't with us, because that would have been a mostly Port-dominant household that night, and I think it got pretty toxic.
But I would have... I would have held my own when it comes to Port, mate. You know me. Yeah. You know me, yeah. If it's Port Crows, I think I would have made a couple of Port supporters cry before they made me cry.
Was that before the Crows Richmond Grand Final?
No, the year. I'm pretty sure it's the year after.
Yeah, you probably would have come after me big time.
Because I know people say, you know, when the Crows lost the grand final, I was upset, but I was upset for my friends and family.
Yeah, and I wasn't
upset. I wasn't upset for me. I didn't care that the Crows had lost. It didn't affect me anyway. Like, I wasn't emotionally charged at it. But like for people like my old man and my partner and my friends that are Crow supporters, like that sucked for them. Like, again, like, you don't want to see. And I sit here and say, all I want to do is watch Port lose grand finals. That's awesome. But I feel for my friends. Like, I felt for my friends after the game with Hawthorn where they lost by kick. Like, I felt that for them because I was like, fuck, like, that's got to suck.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel it. And even when they, like, as much as I love them getting smashed by the Bulldogs, you do have a sense of, I guess, camaraderie when it comes to, like, it's the same with, like, you know, as much stick as I give you about Essendon, if they lost the grand final, I'd feel for you. I wouldn't care that I don't care that the club's lost the grand final. I'm fucking ecstatic Essendon haven't won the grand final. But it depends who they're playing. But it's that bit of, you sort of always, you're a Crows supporter. Yeah, I like the Crows, and all my friends and family grew up. My dad's a massive Crows fan, and
that's the exact reason why I have a soft spot for Port. It's the exact same thing, yeah.
And I'll go into bat for the Crows, but I think in the last 4 or 5 years, I've definitely I'm not as a massive Port hater as I used to be. But I still just think that you can separate football and emotion. But I mean, it's hard to do sometimes. But
I'll admit that my emotions got the better of me that day, though. I was a complete arsehole to all Crow supporters.
You were, but you were, but also there was a lot of Port supporters that had it built up from 2007.
Yeah.
So, and if and the way the Crows were going, they shouldn't have lost that game. Do you know what I mean? Like the way the fans were talking, they'd won it back in August. So, I understand it, and you get stuck in, but also it's like, all right, okay, you can sort of.
I think it was scenarios around that day too, like, we were in it.
The group we were with.
Scene for anyone that's still listening, 70 minutes in.
Matty.
It was a small house, small lounge room, and we had 12 people maybe in there, and it split between half people want Crows to win, half don't, and it was just chaotic. And you could not hear the TV, and there were clappers going, people screaming everywhere. It was set up to get a little heated after the game, that's for sure.
It
Thanks,
was,
Matthew,
but
if you're listening.
It was. And still to this day, watched a Carlton supporter cry at the Crows losing the grand final. So that's.
Oh, mate. See, that's the stuff that I didn't really give. I don't think I really gave the Crow supporters shit. It was people like the Carlton
probably
supporter
me,
himself.
Yeah, and I copped it. I know I copped it.
Honest, I didn't really give you shit. All I did was play the Richmond theme song for
and that's the only
hours.
thing. That's the only thing that annoyed me. But also, it's that thing of I enjoy watching the grand finals.
Yeah.
So I think I was more frustrated at the fact was I didn't get to watch. I didn't enjoy the game because of the the surroundings.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a fact of I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it sitting at home watching it by myself because the Crows lost. But it was a bit of that thing of fuck, I don't want to be here because of these reasons, not because of who I'm with. It's just let me watch the game. So
it was chaos.
Not that I can talk last grand final. I don't remember any of it. So
but there was only a few of us at yours, so that was all right. The other one that was like that was were you at my place for the Western Bulldogs Melbourne grand final?
Yeah,
where we had 30 people in that bloody.
Yeah. It was
when everyone had their camping chairs in the room.
Chaos.
Oh my.
Chaos. Yeah,
that was chaos. Anyway,
the last moment.
Yeah,
got a bit off topic there.
Yeah, we did. Sorry, that's why I'm very good at that. I'm going to go. I know there's other ones. I know that Jordan Dawson was a great moment. The first shot at Adelaide Oval was another great moment. Jordan Dawson's moment probably should be in there, but I am going to go, and I speak to my old man about this all the time because he's obviously was a mad Port Magpies fan growing up, and then to see Port go into the AFL. He actually originally, and he still says to this day, he wish they didn't do it. But anyway, the first Showdown, we weren't old enough to experience it. Obviously, we were born, but I would have still been probably sitting at home in nappies.
Speak for yourself.
Not knowing what life is. You'd have been a little bit older, but my dad always speaks about how the city was that week of the first Showdown, and I'm sure your old man would say the same.
Yeah, my dad's got a different recollection of the game, and I'll tell you after. But yeah,
yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah. but yeah, and Dad just says the build up that week and all his Crows friends, because Port had only won one game at that point. They were going to smash him, and Port shouldn't be in the AFL and all this sort of stuff, and for Port to win that game, for his recollection of it, he said he's never seen a more upset fan base than after that moment that Port won that showdown, and he said he couldn't have cared that the Crows won the flag that year. The fact that they won the very first showdown.
Speaking of that,
yeah.
my old man, very upset, walked out and said to one of his best mates, "The only thing that makes this better is if we win the premiership."
Wow, there you go.
So he says the same thing. It was electric. It's probably how I described how the final was.
Yeah, yeah.
It was Port Crows, everything. And the final siren went, and he walked out and turned to his friend and said, "The only thing that can save this season now is winning the flag. Not even winning the other showdown.
Yeah,
winning the flag." And by all means, they went on, and the rest is history. Let's say. Yeah. So I think the Crows fans would give Port the first 10 showdowns if it gave them 10 premierships. So
100%.
And I'm sure Port would probably do the same. Actually, I don't know. I don't know.
I reckon in that moment, though, it would have been.
This sucks.
Yeah, for Crows fans, I reckon it would have really hurt at that moment, and then Port fans probably would have got way too cocky about the scenario. But yeah, I just could imagine being at that game. Like, there must have been brawls everywhere in the crowd. I'm surprised my old man wasn't in one.
I think there could have been. Yeah, before they had the fences and that at Adelaide at Amy Stadium. So, but yeah, so there's our top 6.
Yep. Let us know what you think of them. I might do a post about them maybe tomorrow.
Very Port biased.
What's that?
It's very Port biased.
It's 3-3, isn't it?
It's 3 Crows wins, but oh no, it's 3-3. Yeah, it's 3-3. My bad.
3-3. Yeah,
sorry.
That's why I think I've got to pick Dawson. I'll leave it up.
I've just got Byron Pickett written here, so I had to remember what that was.
We'll just put the 2006 semi-final as a package.
Yeah,
that makes it pretty fair. And that's definitely more of a Crows moment than Port, isn't it? Even though Bigland is still probably a bit dazed by that one.
Yeah.
We'll put them up on our socials tomorrow. Is there anything else, mate, you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered everything. If I start another topic, I'm sure we'll be here for another hour.
Yeah, literally.
I think that will do us for tonight, because otherwise we will be rambling on.
Just checking here. It is still going. The tribunal. Latest David Zeta tweet is, "You're all telling me to charge my battery, but by the time the tribunal is done, it will be iPhone 34." So I think it started 3 hours ago and it's still going. So
I think he's going to get off.
And
then
it's going to be interesting. But anyway,
do we have the right decision? I don't know.
Who knows if it's the right decision or not? I don't know anymore. The AFL's got to change these to, I don't know what they do. We'll talk about another pod maybe, because we're an hour and 20 in. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening tonight. Been a jam-packed episode. Good to get some continuity in the podcast again. Hope your team wins on the weekend. Hope the showdown's a cracker. And thanks for joining us again, Camo. We'll have to try and get a guest in a couple of weeks, or next week maybe, mate. What do you reckon?
Yeah, we probably could have this week. Just we changed the days this week. We're both a bit sick last night, so
yeah.
But normally I would be playing basketball right now. So
that's it. Do they know you're doing the pod?
They know I'm not playing. They don't know I'm doing the pod.
Bugger them.
Easy.
All right, mate. Good to talk to you, mate. And hopefully I get the dub for you. And we'll speak to you next week, mate.
Easy.
So, yeah.
Ciao.
See you, everyone. Oh, sorry, just quickly. Everyone, if you want to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, we're not really posting a lot on Instagram at the moment, but we'll once we just want to focus on getting the podcast out every week, and then once we get that going properly, we'll put some more content up. So follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We appreciate all your support, and we'll see you all again soon. Okay, mate.
Ciao, mate. One last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home.